It's time for spelling analysis. Let's apply what we've been learning. The first word is massive. The truck is massive. Go ahead and say massive. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell mass, sieve. What will we say to spell? Mass, sieve. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is mass. S. The second syllable is sieve. S-I-V. Silent final E. Go ahead and write mass, sieve, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is mass. S. The second syllable is sieve. S-I-V. Silent final E. Why do we have a silent E in massive? That's right, English words do not end in V, therefore add an E. Let's read it. M-A-S-I-V. Massive. The next word is alarm. Be sure to set your alarm. Go ahead and say alarm. How many syllables? 2. Do you hear a schwa sound? Alarm. Yes, we will say to spell a-larm. What will we say to spell? A-larm. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is A. A. The second syllable is larm. L-R-M. Go ahead and write A-larm. Sound it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is A. The second syllable is larm. L-R-M. How will we mark it? We'll put a line over the A. Why did it say it's long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of a syllable. Let's underline the R. Let's sound it out. A-L-R-M, alarm. The next word is fire. Oh no, they had a fire in the downtown. Fire. Go ahead and say fire. Let's sound it out. I-er. Silent final E. Go ahead and write fire. Excellent. And help me to write it. I-er. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll put a line over the I. And why did it say it's long sound? The vowel said it's long sound because of the E. Let's read it. I-er. Fire. The next word is department. He works for the fire department. Go ahead and say department. How many syllables? 3. We will say to spell D-part-ment. What will we say to spell? D-part-ment. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is D. D-E. The second syllable is part. P-art. Ment. M-E-N-T. Go ahead and write D-part-ment. Sound it out as you write it. Excellent. And sound it out. That's right. And help me to write it. The first syllable is D. D-E. Part. P-art. Ment. M-E-N-T. And how will we mark it? We'll put a line over the E. Why did it say it's long sound? A-E-O-U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And we'll underline the R. Let's read it. D-E-P-A-R-T-M-E-N-T. Department. The next word is rehearse. We will rehearse for the play. Rehearse. Go ahead and say rehearse. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell rehearse. What will we say to spell? Rehearse. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is re. E. The second syllable is hearse. That's right. S. Silent final E. Go ahead and write rehearse. Remember, use a 3-letter Rehearse. And help me to write it. The first syllable is re. E. Hearse. S. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll put a line over the E. Why did it say it's long sound? A-E-O-U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And we'll underline the And why do we have a silent E in rehearse? It is to keep it from ending in S. Let's read it. Rehearse. All right. The next word is ceiling. There is a lamp on the ceiling or a light on the ceiling. Go ahead and say ceiling. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell ceiling. What will we say to spell? Ceiling. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is C. C. That's right. It's our new phonogram. The next syllable is ling. O-I-ng. Go ahead and write ceiling. Excellent. And help me to write it. C, ling, O-I-ng. And how do we mark it? We'll underline the C and we'll underline the ng. Let's read it. C-O-I-ng, ceiling. The next word is argue. It makes me sad when they argue. Go ahead and say argue. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell argue. What will we say to spell? Argue. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is R. R. The second syllable is gu. G, U. Silent final E. Go ahead and write argue. Sound it out as you write it. And help me to write it. R. The second syllable is gu. G, U. Silent final E. How do we mark it? We'll underline the R and we'll put a line over the U. It's at its long sound. Why do we have a silent E in argue? English words do not end in V or U. Let's read it. Argue. Argue. The next word is giraffe. We saw giraffe at the zoo. Giraffe. Go ahead and say giraffe. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell giraffe. What will we say to spell? Giraffe. Let's sound it out. J, use a g, j. Use the of bird. Aff. Silent final E. Yep, that's right. It's a little unusual. Just go ahead and write giraffe. Remember, silent final E. Good, and help me to write it. Aff. Silent final E. Now, what sound of g, j do we hear? The second, and we'll underline the Why did the G say j? G may soften to j before an E, I, or Y, and there it is. So it's saying jur. And then, why do we have a silent E in giraffe? This is an unseen reason. Let's read it. Giraffe. The next word is package. I can't wait to open the package. Go ahead and say package. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell pack age. What will we say to spell? Pack age. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is pack. P-A-K. That's right. It's a 2-letter K. The second syllable is age. A-J. Use a g, j. Silent final E. Go ahead and write pack age. Pack age. And help me to write it. The first syllable is pack. P-A-K. The second syllable is age. A-J. Silent final E. How will we mark it? We'll underline the K. And notice we used the 2-letter K after a single vowel. And we'll put a line over the A. What sound of g, j do you hear in package? The second. And we'll double underline the E. First of all, why do we have a silent E in package? You're right, the vowel set its long sound because of the E. And, do you see it? The G softened to J because of the E. Do you see another word in package? It's the word pack. What do you do when you have a package? You pack things in the package and then you send it. So a package is something that was packed. That's right. The next word is significant. Morphemes are significant clues in words. Go ahead and say significant. How many syllables in significant? 4. Now, let's listen carefully. We will say to spell sig-nif-i-cant. can't. What would we say to spell? Sig, nif, I, can't. All right, let's sound it out. Sig, s, I, g. Nif, n, I, f, I. I, that's an I-E-Y. Can't, k, use a k, s, a, n, t. Go ahead and write sig, nif, I, can't. Got it? Sig, nif, I, can't. You can do it. Just sound it out. Sig, nif, I, can't. All right, help me to write it. Sound it out nice and loud. Sig, s, I, g, nif, n, I, f, I, can't, k, a, n, t. And notice everything is saying its first sound. Let's read it. S, I, g, n, I, f, I, k, a, n, t. Significant. That's awesome. You can read and spell 4-syllable words. Great work. The next word is sound. The key to reading and spelling is to sound it out. Sound. Go ahead and say sound. Let's sound it out. S, ow. Use an ow, o, u, n, d. Go ahead and write sound. Good. And help me to write it. S, ow, n, d. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the ow. Let's read it. S, ow, n, d. Sound. The next word is other. I'd like to try the other one. Other. Go ahead and say other. How many syllables? 2. Do you hear an O saying next to a TH? What will we say to spell? We'll say to spell oth-er. Let's try it again. Oth-er. All right. The first syllable is oth. Aw-v. Use a th. The second syllable is use the of her. Go ahead and write oth-er. Good. And help me to write it. The first syllable is oth, v. The second syllable is How will we mark it? What sound does do here? The second, that's right. And we'll underline the Let's read it. Other. Why did the O say O may say next to a W, TH, N, or V. And there it is. The next word is survive. I hope that they survive the winter. Survive. Go ahead and say survive. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell survive. What will we say to spell? Survive. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is sir. Use the of hurt. Vive. V-I-V. Silent finally. Go ahead and write survive. Survive. Good. And help me to write it. Second syllable is vive. V-I-V. Silent finally. How do we mark it? We'll underline the and we'll put a line over the I because I-E-Y said its long I sound. Now, why do we have a silent E in survive? How many reasons are there? There are 2. The vowel said its long sound because of the E, and English words do not end in V or U, therefore add an E. Let's read it. Survive. The next word is arrive. The plane will arrive at 5:02. Arrive. Go ahead and say arrive. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell arrive. What will we say to spell? Arrive. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is R. The second syllable is rive. I-V. Silent finally. You got it. Go ahead and write arrive. Excellent. And help me to write it. The first syllable is R. Second syllable is rive. I-V. Silent finally. How will we mark it? We'll underline the R and we'll put a line over the I. It said its long sound. Why is there a silent E in arrive? You're right. The vowel said its long sound because of the E, and English words do not end in V or U. Let's read it. Arrive. Excellent. The last word is magic. I think phonograms are like magic. They explain words. Magic. Go ahead and say magic. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell mag-ic. What will we say to spell? Mag-ic. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is mag. M-a-j. Use a g-j. The second syllable is ic. Ic. Use a k-s. Go ahead and write mag-ic. And help me to write it. The first syllable is mag, m-a-j. The second syllable is ic, ic. Now, what sound of g, j do you hear in magic? The second. Why? G may soften to j before an e, I, or y. There it is before an I. Let's read it. M-a-j-ic, magic. Great work today.
Combining the science of reading with the joy of learning. Learn more at essentials.logicoфenglish.com.